Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hidden Korea, the channel where we uncover the truth behind the glittering world of Korean entertainment. The internet is on fire after an unexpected sighting sent shockwaves across K-biz. Chae-min and Yoona were reportedly caught in a mysterious midnight meeting in Seoul, a moment so real, so intimate. It's fueling wild dating rumors everywhere. What really happened under those city lights? Was it coincidence? Or something much deeper? Stay with us, because the truth behind this midnight encounter is far more shocking than you think. Let's dive in, right now. Just past midnight, when the first flash of light cut through the quiet streets of Gangnam. The rain had stopped hours ago, leaving behind a city slick with reflections, neon signs rippling across puddles, streetlights bleeding gold into the mist. Seoul was asleep, or so it seemed. At exactly 12:47 a.m., a black sedan turned the corner near Dawson Park. Its tinted windows glided past a dim street lamps before stopping in front of a small cafe that should have been closed hours ago. The door opened, and a figure stepped out. Tall, lean, hood pulled low, moving with the careful silence of someone who had learned how to hide. Chae-min. Moments later, another car appeared, smaller, silver, elegant. From it emerged a woman wrapped in a long coat, her hair catching the pale light of the street like silk. She glanced around once, then walked toward the cafe door. Yoona. For a few seconds, the world held its breath. From a nearby alley, a faint click echoed, the sound of a camera lens. The shutter snapped twice. By morning, those two sounds would ignite an inferno. The next day began with a whisper, one blurry photo posted anonymously on a fan forum, a man and a woman standing too close, their faces half hidden beneath the glow of Seoul's streetlights. But even through the grain and blur, fans recognized them instantly. The comments erupted. No way, that's Yoona. Look at his posture. That's definitely Chae-min. Why are they together at that hour? In less than an hour, the photo spread across every platform, multiplying like wildfire. By sunrise, Yoona Chae-min midnight meeting were trending across Asia. Entertainment outlets scrambled for statements. Paparazzi raced to trace the location. Matching lampposts, reflections, and even the cafe sign half-cropped in the corner of the photo. Some swore it was a new project, a secret drama or CF shoot. Others whispered something more dangerous. It wasn't work. It was real. By 9 a.m., major Korean news portals were already calling it the Midnight Mystery. Yoona's agency released a short, sharp statement. A casual meeting between friends. Please refrain from speculation. But the internet wasn't built to refrain. Within hours, theories multiplied like smoke. A barista claimed the cafe was privately rented that night by a music production team. A delivery driver posted that he'd seen two cars leave the area minutes apart, one heading toward Hanam, the other toward Apgujeong. Another anonymous user swore they saw the pair walking along the river later that night, looking like they didn't want to say goodbye. By noon, the phrase "caught in the dark" began appearing across tabloids. Photos of Chae-min in his latest drama were juxtaposed with stills of Yoona from her concerts, every glance, every smile, reinterpreted as evidence. Language experts flooded TV panels, analyzing gestures frame by frame. Even the way they once bowed to each other on stage became material for obsession. The pressure mounted. That evening, Chae-min appeared at Incheon Airport for a scheduled shoot abroad. Reporters swarmed the terminal, shouting questions over the roar of cameras. His eyes stayed down, his expression unreadable. He said nothing, not a denial, not a confirmation. But silence can be the loudest answer of all. By the time night fell again, the storm had reached every corner of K-biz. Advertisers paused campaigns. Talk shows ran emergency segments. Longtime fans defended them fiercely while others demanded the truth. And then, the second photograph appeared. Wasn't blurry this time. The image showed Chae-min and Yoona standing beside the Han River. Her head tilted slightly toward him, his hand half raised as though brushing away a tear. The light from a passing car caught their faces just enough to reveal something raw, not scripted, not rehearsed, but heartbreakingly real. Beneath the photo read simply, "Love doesn't need daylight to be seen." The post went viral instantly. By midnight, Seoul was burning again, not with fire, but with fascination. TV anchors called it a scandal that doesn't feel like a scandal. Others called it the night honesty broke through fame. But no one knew what had really happened in that cafe or what words were exchanged beneath that trembling streetlight. All anyone knew was this: in the city that never truly sleeps, two of its brightest stars had been caught in a moment too intimate to ignore. And as the internet exploded, one question echoed louder than the rest. Was it fate, or was it the beginning of a secret neither of them could control? The morning after the second photo dropped, Seoul was no longer just awake, it was vibrating. Television anchors delivered updates every half hour. Commentators debated whether the two stars were lovers or victims of digital illusion. Every second of footage from their past projects was dissected like sacred text. At the center of the chaos remained silent. Yoona canceled a recording session. Chae-min disappeared from the public schedule. Their agencies issued nothing but identical lines: "We ask for privacy." Yet privacy was the one luxury they no longer owned. Outside SM's glass headquarters, crowds gathered with placards that glowed under the camera flashes: "If it's real, let them be." Voices weren't so kind. Online, anonymous critics tore at them, questioning professionalism, morals, even their right to choose peace over performance. Meanwhile, a rumor began to surface: a security guard at the cafe where they met claimed they had arrived hours before midnight, staying long after the lights went out. Described laughter, then quiet conversation. Sound of rain against glass. "They weren't acting," he said. "We're just human." The quote spread faster than any photo ever could. That evening, Yoona appeared at the airport unexpectedly. Cameras lunged forward, flashes burst like lightning. She wore black, face pale but unflinching. Single question cut through the noise. "Yoona SSI, is it true?" For a heartbeat, she paused, then smiled, small and tired. "Sometimes," she said softly. "Truth doesn't need proof." The words detonated across every screen in Asia. Dawn, even Western entertainment outlets were running the headline: "Yoona breaks silence, truth doesn't need proof." The frenzy turned nuclear. Brands froze contracts, fandoms collided, message boards crashed. But beneath the noise, something new began, a quiet current of empathy. People recognized exhaustion in her voice, vulnerability in his silence. The narrative shifted from scandal to tragedy, two souls trapped beneath the weight of fame. Then came the leak. 3 a.m., a 12-second clip appeared on an anonymous YouTube account. The video showed the same cafe from that night, flickering neon outside, shadows moving behind fogged glass. Two silhouettes sat close across the table. One hand reached out, the other didn't pull away. Caption read: "No scandal. Just a heartbeat." Within minutes, the clip went viral. Replayed it endlessly, claiming they could hear Yoona's laugh through the static. See Chae-min's reflection trembling as if torn between fear and freedom. It was all the proof the public needed, and none at all. 2 days later, a press conference was announced. The invitation was cryptic: one statement, no questions. The venue filled before dawn. From 10 countries. Fans pressed behind barricades, cameras humming. At exactly noon, Chae-min walked onto the stage. The room erupted, flashes blinding. Phones thrust forward, but he raised a hand, steady and calm. "I've been called many things these past few days." Again, voice low. "Actor. Idol. Liar. But tonight, I'll speak only as a person." He exhaled, glancing toward the side curtain. "What you saw that night wasn't a scene. It wasn't promotion. It was two people meeting after years of pretending feelings didn't exist. We were careless. Maybe foolish. But not fake." Froze. Then Yoona stepped out, dressed simply. Makeup, her eyes clear. She stood beside him. Enough for their shoulders to brush. "We didn't plan to fall for each other," she said. Happened quietly, between scripts, between schedules, between lives that never had time to breathe. She looked directly into the sea of cameras. "If love is a crime in our industry, the world judge us. But don't call it scandal. Call it truth." Moment, the press room was utterly still. Then, like thunder rolling over the sea, applause broke, hesitant at first, then uncontrollable. That night, the clip of their joint confession broke every streaming record in Korea's history. Headlines shifted again. No longer a rumor, love wins. Fans flooded social media with messages of support. Posted solidarity quotes. And an unexpected wave of warmth began to drown out the cynicism. The following week, both stars vanished from public sight. No updates. No schedules, no interviews. Just one final post on their shared fan platform, a black and white photo of Seoul's skyline, captioned, "We're still here. Just quieter." Became the most shared image of the year. Months later, insiders whispered that they had left the city entirely, renting a small house by the sea, far from cameras and headlines. Industry moved on, as it always does. Something subtle lingered. Fans said the air felt different after that press conference, cleaner, freer. Two people's honesty had cracked a hole in the facade of perfection. Because after all the rumors, all the chaos, all the lights that blinded them, what remained wasn't scandal, it was humanity. People, caught in the dark, who chose to step into the light together. When the cameras finally stopped flashing and the headlines lost their fire, Seoul went quiet again. Beneath that quiet, the story of Chae-min and Yoona kept echoing, not as a scandal, not as gossip, but as something softer, something human. It reminded the world that love doesn't always bloom under sunlight. Sometimes it grows in the dark, hidden between schedules, whispered between takes. Fragile but unbreakable. World obsessed with perfection. They dared to be imperfect. Doing so, they made perfection irrelevant. Somewhere beyond the glare of fame, perhaps by the sea or beneath Seoul's dim streetlights, two souls are walking side by side, not actors, not idols, just people who chose truth over pretense. When the lights go out and the noise fades away, left isn't fame or fear. It's the heartbeat that refuses to lie. Thank you for joining us on this unforgettable journey, a story that shook the industry, melted the internet, reminded us that behind every camera flash, there's a real heartbeat trying to survive. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. At Hidden Korea, we don't just reveal stories, we reveal souls. Next time, stay curious, stay kind. Never stop looking for the truth hidden between the lights and the shadows. Hidden Korea.